Do you watch CSI, Law and Order, NCIS? I like how those crime shows use modern science to get the bad guy.
Brab's prints are all over Singer's convertible. The pollen that was in Petty Officer Bick's lungs is found only one place on Earth.
People who watch these shows believe that this is how it's really done.
It's not?
It's not.
Former Detective Harry Houck's annoyed that the TV shows make forensic science look infallible.
And you watch a detective get down and look at a body and touch it. Yeah, he's been dead for 3 hours now. He ate dinner 4 hours ago. I can't do that.
On TV, experts identify the killer by his bite mark.
A little 3D magic for clarity, and I give you the killer's incisors.
In real life, experts claim they can identify criminals that way.
Swinton was convicted and sentenced to 60 years in prison based on testimony that bite marks found on the victim were his.
The TV show Cold Case Files covered the trial in which Alfred Swinton was convicted because this so-called bite mark expert said Swinton's teeth matched a bite on the victim.
When the models of the teeth were laid onto the bite mark, it was a perfect match.
The expert explained he's a neutral scientist.
A forensic scientist is not on the side of the prosecution or the defense. We look at the evidence and we make sure that if we're going to make a decision, it's going to be a truthful decision.
The doctor was just wrong. He was just wrong because it's an unreliable technique.
It looks like science.
It does. They're in white lab coats. They sound very authoritative, but they're full of it.
Lawyer Chris Fabricant helped get Swinton freed from jail by doing a DNA test.
New DNA evidence shows he had nothing to do with the 1991 murder of Carla Terry.
Tonight, Alfred Swinton's conviction was vacated, and he's a free man.
That's Chris Fabricant celebrating with Swinton the day he was released.
Bite marks is similar to you and I maybe looking at a cloud, and then I say to you, John, doesn't that cloud look like a rabbit to you? And then you look at it and say, yeah, Chris, I think that does look like a rabbit.
But that kind of junk science puts innocent people in jail. That's one or two people. Many more people are in jail and were supposedly safer because of that.
If you think that maybe even 1% of convicted defendants may have been innocent, we have 2.6 million people in prison today. So we're not talking about a couple of people. We're talking about tens of thousands of people.
But the people who use these techniques, they believe in it. They're confident.
Sure, they're confident. It's faith-based science.
The expert who got Swinton convicted now admits he was wrong. But police still trust bite marks.
Let's say one tooth is missing in the front. So you got to look at that, and your suspect's got one tooth missing in the front. That's pretty good. But then again, that's not enough.
Houck says he'd demand other evidence, but not all cops do. Especially if experts say they're sure someone's guilty. When they say so, you trust that.
Yes.
But even fingerprint evidence isn't foolproof.
The deadliest terror attack on Europe since World War II.
When terrorists in Madrid killed 193 people, the FBI found this fingerprint on one of the terrorists' bags and matched it to this fingerprint of a man in Oregon.
An international investigation led to Brandon Mayfield.
However,
2 weeks after Mayfield's arrest, Spanish investigators found the man to whom the fingerprint really belonged.
FBI researchers claim fingerprints are right more than 99% of the time, but that still leaves plenty of wrongful convictions. Other techniques are even less accurate. Carpet fiber evidence, gun tracing, hair matching.
Microscopic hair comparison evidence has been admitted by courts for a century.
In one case, it was a dog's hair.
A dog hair was associated wrongfully with the human hair. Since the turn of this century, there have been 75 wrongful convictions.
Fabricant works for the Innocence Project. By using more modern DNA evidence, the project's lawyers have helped free 191 innocent people. All these people were wrongly jailed based on so-called scientific evidence. Why do judges admit this stuff? Why don't defense attorneys get it thrown out?
We all went to law school because we don't know science. We don't know math. And if somebody comes in with a white lab coat and says, I've been accredited by the American Board of Forensic Odontology and I've been practicing for 20 years, that's good enough for government work.
That shouldn't be the standard. Too much is at stake. Jurors tend to believe people who courts call experts. But the experts often rely on junk science. Juries and judges should be much more skeptical.